I'm Leslie McKinnon. I'm the Director of Investor and Indigenous Relations here at Foresight Canada. Thank you so much for joining us today for the final 2022 version of a Foresight 50 pitch showcase. We will be announcing the 2023 Foresight 50 shortly, and I'll tell you more about that later on in our session today. But with our first off, I would like to acknowledge with gratitude and respect that the lands on which Foresight operates are traditional, ancestral, and unceded territories of the First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples of across Turtle Island. For myself, I am currently located in the traditional, ancestral, and unceded territories of the Blackfoot Confederacy, including the Siksika, Kainai, Piikani nations, the Tsuut'ina, the Stoney Nakoda Nation, and the Métis Nation of Region 3. And I would like to welcome all Indigenous peoples who make their home in Treaty 7 and thank them for their exceptional stewardship of the land for multiple generations, from whom we can learn so much as we work towards our net zero goals for Canada and beyond. And just want to send a thought to all of the fire affected communities, rural and remote, that have been and municipal as well, that have been impacted by the fires over the last few weeks. So I just invite you to take a moment to acknowledge for yourself where you are based today, and hopefully you are all safe and in territory that is not currently at risk. So thank you so much. Next slide, please. We'd like to thank the National Research Council of Canada's Industrial Research Assistance Program. NRC IRAP is an amazing partner to Foresight Canada and provides funding support for our Clean Tech Ventures program, which makes the Foresight 50 initiative events like this possible. As I mentioned, Foresight Canada is working to advance net zero, and in fact, that is our audacious goal for Canada to become the first G7 country that achieves net zero. And in order to do that, we are working to rapidly launch, commercialize, and scale climate solutions, supporting some of the amazing innovators that you're meeting today as one example of the way that we do that work. We work with Helix 5 leaders across, such as innovators, working across industries, with investors, with different governments and academia, as well as rights holders to relentlessly drive clean tech innovation in Canada. There's a little bit on this slide about the different ways that we work in order to achieve these goals. For example, the core acceleration programs that bring these ventures forward. We also support industry through innovation challenges and work on capital attraction and other initiatives that support export development, market building, and also ecosystem building in different regions and at different scales across Canada. Our agenda today, I've given our welcome remarks. We will have 3 rounds of pitch blocks today. So you're meeting 12 Foresight 50 alumni ventures, primarily from our 2022 cohort, with a few from 2021 as well. So these ventures today have been on our list of the 50 most investable ventures in Canada. They are raising capital and working on strategic goals, and are excited to share that with our investor-focused audience today. So we'll run through 4 pitches in each block. Each presenter will have 2 minutes, and we're going to be really firm on those 2-minute timelines to get you quickly into the breakout room. So all of our guests today will be able to self-select into a breakout room. So we have 4 pitches per block, and you can attend a breakout room within that block. And then we'll come back to the main room for a second round of pitches, go back to breakout rooms, and we'll do that for 3 rounds. So we're going to dive right in, and our first pitching venture in block 1 is Solar Steam, and I've got Apostol with us here today, and he's going to test out a pitch video. So we are going to move directly into the video.
Our purpose is to decarbonize some of the highest emitting and hardest to abate heavy industry segments. 1/3 of global energy is used by industry, and of that, 80% of industrial energy used is in the form of heat. Heat is required to manufacture the building materials for the roads we build, the buildings we live in, and many of the products we use in our daily lives, such as plastics, clothes, beverages, paper, and even food. But where does heat for industry come from? This is a boiler. It is filled with water, which is heated by burning fossil fuels to generate and distribute heat. The problem with heat generation is the high cost and high emissions. We can help you generate heat without the problem, using solar steam technology. Let's talk. We look forward to brightening your day.
Awesome. So there's a little bit about solar steam, and you can connect with Apostle in the breakout rooms shortly. Next up, I will turn it over to Chris at Theory Mesh.
Great. Thanks, Leslie. Um, Good morning, afternoon, everyone. My name is Chris Brunio. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Theory Mesh, and we're out to digitize the food supply chain. I don't know if I can advance slides here. Can I get to the next slide? So what we know today is that customers want safe and sustainable food. We've seen a number of different upheavals through the pandemic, and more recently through the different climate impacts that we've seen around the world. Those food supply chains are fragile, and they're definitely creating impact to consumers. And we know that the food companies who are supplying that food also need digitization for traceability and sustainability. And we've seen some big commitments from very large companies really looking to be able to decarbonize their food supply chains and give their consumers the trust in what they're providing and making sure that they've got sustainable operations. It's difficult to do this today in the food system, given the amount of paper, spreadsheet, and disconnected systems that we see. If we can move to the next slide. The big thing that Theory Mesh is bringing to the table is what I'm calling the food system operating system. And this is one platform to go from farm to consumer in the food system. So looking at farm and farm production with sourcing, manufacturing, and processing right through to the consumer, capturing data all the way along so we can provide instant product recall and traceability through the entire food supply chain. But alongside that, we can provide accurate and actionable sustainability data. For food companies that want to decarbonize their supply chain, want to look at their operations, we provide them with one view of everything from their primary sourcing all the way through their consumer to evaluate things like food waste, alternate production mechanisms, alternate sourcing strategies to drive that sort of environmental impact. And from the consumer perspective, we provide that traceability so that consumers can see exactly what the footprint of the food is that they're eating, how it's been produced, and be assured that any kind of climate reduction claims being made by companies are actually accurate. Differentiating a bit from LCAs and some of the other tools that are out there, we provide primary source data, so the food companies themselves or the farms themselves capturing that data and providing it into our system. And it's right now the only system that can provide that type of a view across the whole food chain from source to consumer. So looking forward to dive a little bit more into the platform and the progress that we've made in market in the breakout coming up here shortly.
Great. Thank you so much, Chris. I will now pass it over to Arthur at Verdi.
All right, thank you, everyone. It's great to meet you all. Let me see if I can quickly share my screen here.
You'll share your screen in the breakout room. So you've got 2 minutes just for your main level pitch here.
Okay, all right, yeah, no problem. Thank you for that. So it's great to meet everyone here. I'm Arthur. I'm the co-founder and CEO here at Verdi. We're a startup for ag tech based out of Vancouver, and we are building the climate adaptation platforms for agriculture. We really started by just optimizing the most important resource for farmers, which is water. And our goal in the next 5 years, by 2028, is to save farmers over 40 billion liters of water every year. And the way we're doing that is that we've developed the world's first scalable technology to personalize healthcare for plants using advanced data analytics and fleets of intelligent devices to help farmers to radically optimize the way that they grow their crops and also how efficient they are with their resources as well. So some of the top highlights from our past year is that we've grown our customer base to include the world's largest food brands, including Driscoll's, E&J Gallo, and Wonderful. We've grown our customer bookings 26x from 25K to over 650K ARR USD in the past year. We have zero churn, and over 80% of our customers expand within 12 months of starting. And on the impact side, not only have we saved our customers over 7 million liters of water in the past year, but we've also been able to help them increase yields by up to 20% and save up to 90% of their manual labor. So that's a quick intro to Verity. If you'd like to learn more, please feel free to reach out and join us at the breakout room. Thank you.
Great, thanks, Arthur. I'll now pass it over to Saleh and the team at Solaris.
Thank you. Imagine if we could use any light around us as a source of energy, including indoor light. It is not a crazy idea. It has been previously done at a smaller scale, just like the traditional solar calculators that have been around for the past 30 years. But why don't we see all electronic devices powered by solar? Why do we still need to recharge our batteries? Because the industry needs a new material and technology to fulfill the requirements for those applications. Hi, I'm Saleh Jaruli, the Investor Relations Lead at Solar. We have developed and patented the next generation of perovskite-based flexible solar panels that offer double the performance of traditional panels at a lower cost, and also collect wasted indoor light and converts it back to electricity, enabling for new wireless charging capabilities, just like the traditional solar calculator, but for larger devices, like wireless keyboards, smart door locks, and other IoT devices. Future applications of our technology will range from electric vehicles to building facades to any other battery-powered device. All these are protected with a comprehensive IP strategy that includes 44 patent applications. Our team consists of scientists, serial entrepreneurs, and seasoned industry professionals. Solar's technology is at a TRL 6 ready for paid pilots. We have already pre-sold over 10 million worth of product with signed LOIs. We're raising $4 million in a seed round to scale our manufacturing to fulfill these sales. Imagine any battery-driven device never having to be recharged. That is the technology we are delivering. Thank you.
Great, thank you so much. And that concludes our first round of pitches. So we will now move into the breakout rooms. So my colleagues will shortly open up the breakout rooms, and you will have the option at the bottom of your screen to select the room that you want to enter. And you will have 15 minutes in those breakout rooms once they're opened here. So just give my colleagues one moment here. The next round of pitches is starting with Macarena Cataldo from Viridis. Over to you, Maca.
So hi everyone, I'm Macarena Cataldo, co-founder and CEO of Viridis Research. At Viridis, we develop groundbreaking technologies to protect water sources, and we started solving the microplastic problem. Microplastics are everywhere, and one of the main contributors to microplastic contamination are synthetic fibers coming from washing our clothes. But we are going to change that. Our system is connected to the washing machine effluent, capturing the microplastic and draining the water. The microplastic is then oxidized and the water is drained. And why this is important? It's important because new regulations that requires washing machine manufacturers to incorporate those systems have been passed and promoted around the world, generating a total addressable market of around 7 billion between North America and Europe. Our main competitors right now use a technology based on mechanical filtration. So they just capture, they don't degrade, so they generate even more microplastic pollution to the environment, and they use plastic cartridges which need maintenance and generate even more plastic contamination. Our system instead is superior in performance because we are able to degrade. We generate zero solid and liquid waste, and our system doesn't require any maintenance. So we are the only system in the market that is able to be incorporated inside a washing machine. In fact, we already started a collaboration with Samsung to potentially incorporate our system in their washing machines. Our business model is based on licensing our technology to appliance manufacturers, and based on conversation with them, we forecast a revenue generation by 2025. In order to successfully bring this product to the market, we have a very strong team with the necessary skills to commercialize our product. And if you want to learn more about us, join us in our room later. And thank you very much for your attention.
Great. Thank you so much, Maca. And I will now pass it over to Julie Angus at Open Ocean Robotics. Julie, over to you.
Great, thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here. My name is Julie Angus. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Open Ocean Robotics. And I started this company because after I spent 5 months rowing across the Atlantic Ocean, I understood how hard it was to be on the ocean and how that limited our ability to operate on them and protect them. Ocean industries and governments depend on accurate ocean data for their operations, security, and research. That is mostly provided by ships, which are expensive, difficult to use, and polluting. Next slide, please. We create ocean robots that provide safe, affordable, and sustainable ocean monitoring. Data Explorer is our solar-powered autonomous boat for real-time ocean monitoring. With patented self-righting technology, it is uniquely capable of monitoring very shallow waters to deep ocean. Completely solar-powered, it can operate for months continuously. Explorer View is our secure cloud-based portal for real-time data viewing and USV operations. We currently provide mission services in environmental monitoring and maritime domain awareness. Last year, we earned $1 million Canadian in revenue, and this year we're on track for over 3 million. Next slide, please. We work with some of the most innovative and leading government agencies as well as companies in the world. Recently, we hired a director of sales and launched USV sales and software subscription, and we're already closing in on 10 USV sales. In 2025, we'll launch data products developed with our proprietary ocean data sets. And based in Victoria, BC, we have a team of 30 exceptional engineers, scientists, and leaders. Next slide. We are raising $5 million US to grow sales and advance product offerings. We have participation from existing and new investors. Join us to create a high profit margin robotics company and invest in a sustainable future. And please join me in the breakout room after to learn more. Thank you.
Great, thanks, Julie. I'm going to pass it over now to Stephanie at Rotolyptic. Over to you, Stephanie.
Your mic's on. Yeah, it'll actually be Connor Ive presenting. So hello, everyone. Thanks for taking some time out of your day. I'm Connor Ive, and I'm the Sales and Operations Coordinator at Rotolyptic. What we offer is a new type of artificial lift pump in the oil and gas industry to increase efficiency and reduce environmental impact. Next slide, please. So jumping in here, what we've done is developed a high efficiency, all metal positive displacement pump. Essentially what this means is we have a single metal rotor, like what you see on the screen here, spinning at a high speed inside a paired stator housing, and this pump is about 15 feet long. We generated this technology to meet 3 major pain points in the artificial lift industry, which is high temperature, multi-phase flow, and then challenging fluid conditions. With a rating of about 350 degrees Celsius, our pump is the perfect solution for thermal oil recovery and other high temperature operations. And we do this all while maintaining high energy efficiency. With our geometry, our pump also allows us to have multi-phase displacement, meaning it has a really unique ability to process high gas fractions and provide maximum liquid production when you have gas or steam present in the well. And finally, our technology is compatible across a wide range of fluid conditions, including low viscosity water, high viscosity heavy oil, or light oil with high aromatic content. The most impressive part, though, is that we have an ability to operate in these conditions as they change. So we can be pumping highly viscous heavy oil, have the operator pump hot steam through the well, lowering the viscosity and adding gas, and our pump would continue to turn without a problem. So what's great about having high efficiency is it leads to high energy efficiency and all the benefits this can bring to the operators economically and environmentally as well. So when we compare it to other types of artificial lift, for example, the most similar in construction is the all-metal progressive cavity pump, the PCP. The Rotolyptic offers a huge reduction in energy consumption when it comes to subsequent emissions, which is a vastly consequential impact for the industry. In terms of materials being used, we've compared our pumps to equivalent size pumps. We offer pretty much a 30% greater flow with 50% less material required, which is mostly steel. This provides a reduction in the emissions associated with the steel production, as well as a smaller footprint for the transportation and well size.
Thanks, Connor. Sorry about that. I'm going to have to ask you to finish up in your
Sure.
in your breakout room.
No worries. That was pretty much the end anyways. Feel free to ask any questions, anyone.
Excellent. Thank you so much. So we actually have had one pitching venture that wasn't able to join us today. So we are going to now move to breakout rooms for the 3 pitching ventures that you just heard. Pass it over to Lamazoo.
Okay, thanks, Leslie. Good afternoon, everybody. So yeah, we're Lamazoo. And if you could go to the next slide. We're here because we're turning 8 years of experience in digital twinning and data-driven digital simulation into a platform play. And the vision is really to become the world's leading spatial business intelligence company. So our Clarity Digital Twin platform is a low-code, no-code platform as a service that offers organizations unprecedented simplicity and depth to data collection, analysis, and visualization, helping them unlock the true value of their data. We've invested around 10 million in R&D dollars into the platform to date. We own every line of code and piece of IP, and we service around 40 major customers around the world, achieving impressive growth in the SaaS revenue and are on target for about 3 million in revenues for 2023. So why are we doing this? Next slide, please. So the reason we're doing this is because the volume of siloed, fragmented data is currently one of the world's major problems and a key blocker to efficiency and prosperity. So for example, in 2021, over $31 billion in productivity was lost in the AEC sector in North America alone. And as McKinsey says, properly linking the physical and digital worlds could generate up to $11 trillion a year in economic value by 2025. So next slide, please. That's why we're building Clarity. So Clarity turns the data swamp into a data Zen garden by bringing all of this disparate data, all of these different sources into a single multi-user data integrated visualization platform. And that radically improves communication, collaboration, coordination for all stakeholders through a visual representation. Sorry, go forward to, please. Next one. Next one. Okay, so we've enjoyed success to date, making meaningful impact to a number of companies' bottom lines in a number of different sectors. For example, in the mining space, we saved tech resources around $5 million by helping them get to market 18 months faster. And tech has just renewed with us for the fifth consecutive year. Next slide, please. Number of new projects now where we're starting to use digital simulations of IoT sensors to train machine learning. Next slide, please. We have a stellar team. Next slide, please. It's a very hot market with a range of remarkable comps and large addressable market opportunity. Next slide, please. A robust pipeline of opportunities right around the corner and a clear, scalable revenue model. Next slide. And we're poised to address the opportunities represented by new spatial computing platforms, such as the Vision Pro, and to exploit rapidly expanding market opportunities, for example, in the Middle East. Next slide, please. So we are raising at the moment, looking at a Series A to accelerate and complete this transition to SaaS. And we would love to invite you to join us on our journey as we become the world's leading spatial software as a platform company. And I'll see you in the breakout room. Thanks very much.
Great. Thanks, James. I will pass it over now to Scott at ZS2 Technologies. Over to you, Scott.
Okay. Thanks, Leslie. My name is Scott Jenkins. I'm the CEO and co-founder of ZS2 Technologies. And we'll go to the first slide. So ZS2 is changing the world's largest industry, the world's oldest industry, construction. I think actually we've already heard from all the companies today so far, we all could admit the world is broken. So that's a need for us to address climate change in the future, but also address the need for more resilient structures right now. Further, inflation, back to that slide real quick. Inflation, population growth, and skilled labor shortages are creating a critical need for affordable housing throughout North America and around the world right now. Next slide. So innovative technologies to address climate change and some of the world's largest problems with the world's largest industry, construction, exist right now, and they exist here in Canada. And at ZS2, we believe it's truly the combination of material science, true chemistry, with prefabricated building technologies. So built offsite that has the potential to solve some of these challenges. Last slide. So what are we doing? ZS2 has developed proprietary material science based on the world's oldest building product, or one of the oldest building products, and that's magnesium cement. Think Great Wall of China, Roman aqueducts, the Pantheon, Brooklyn Bridge. And we combine that with proprietary processes to get the raw ingredients needed with our proprietary carbon capture. But carbon capture for us isn't just about using it to sequester it. It actually makes our product better to build more resilient, that's fire resistant, storm resistant, affordable, cost effective buildings which we live, heal, work in every day. And we're doing that here in Western Canada. That's it.
Excellent. Thank you so much. I will now pass it over to Biome Renewables. Ryan, over to you.
Wonderful. Great. Thanks a lot. So my name is Ryan Church. I'm the founder and CEO of Biome Renewables. Don't see my slide deck up. There we go. Next slide. So we are a biomimetic engineering and design firm based in Canada with offices in the Netherlands. We're quite an IP-heavy firm with 60 patents to date in wind, tidal, and propulsion. We focus mainly on wind, which is what I'm going to talk about today. Next slide. So aeroacoustic noise is a major issue in the wind industry. It causes up to 25% of production losses for customers. And there's a big, of course, public concern with some turbines, especially in Ontario and France and other jurisdictions. And that's where we come in. Next slide. So the solution today is a trailing edge serration that looks like a bit like a sawtooth. It's pretty standard in the industry, and it gives you about 1 to 2 decibels of noise reduction. It's sold with many turbines today and is provided by all the major players from Siemens Gamesa to Vestas to GE. But we can go far beyond that with our technology. Next slide. So we looked at the owl's wing to investigate how to make a silent trailing edge. And in doing so, we have developed the feather edge technology, which works a little bit like noise canceling headphones for a wind turbine. Next slide. We have just come out of field testing in France and have achieved industry-leading noise reduction. So we are the best in the market. We can go 2.5 dB below that of a standard OEM serration, looking at the broadband, so all frequencies. And in the low frequencies, which are the ones that actually matter the most in terms of noise propagation, we can drop the noise by 3.9 dB, which is effectively a 50% reduction in noise. And this can impact turbine siting for developers, along with, of course, extra turbine sales for OEMs. So our market is quite broad. Next slide. We're looking at the retrofit market. There's tons of customers who have noise issues today. There's 195,000 onshore turbines around the world. And even if you don't have a noise issue per se, I think everybody likes more power. And our technology is also applicable to get more revenue and more power for customers. Our second market is the OEM and the greenfield market. And there's 93,000 onshore turbines. And that market is growing at about 17% per year at the moment. So next slide.
Ryan, so sorry, I'm going to have to ask you to finish up your presentation in your breakout room. And I will now forward through a couple of slides here to livestock water recycling. We're a little bit out of order, so it looks like we have to jump back up in the deck. So I will now pass it over to Doug at Livestock Water.
I'll introduce myself. There we are. I'm Doug Laird. I'm the COO at Livestock Water Recycling. And we love manure. Next slide, please. And it'll manure is a big opportunity. It's also a big issue. You know, we got our start in handling wastewater and various types of water years ago, and we stumbled upon the opportunity that is manure. And in the U.S. alone, the livestock creates 1.4 billion tons of manure every year. So it's a big, big issue. It started with nutrient overload, people running out of land, nutrient runoff. And of course, it's an amazing amount of water that goes into producing the food that feeds everyone. So we see it as a massive opportunity, and there's so many different ways we approach it. Next slide, please. as we say, manure is a terrible thing to waste, and we have a patented technology that's been working at our longest installation since 2015. It comes in 5 different sizes, but is largely transportable. It's modular, and it's very effective. The range of things we do with our systems are we make fuel for RNG. We concentrate up the volatile solids and put those into a digester. And we can treat the digestate on the way out, not just manure digestate, but as well manure-based mixed waste digestate, particularly in the US. And as our name denotes, we recycle and reuse water. We help sites use it on site or return it to crops, etc. We can create fertilizer out of our systems. Our solids are very effective at moving phosphorus around. Our liquids have various types of nitrogen, etc. in them, so it's very, very potent and very, very timely as the world looks to use less commercial fertilizer. We collect data with everything we do. That's one of our big R&D pushes always is more sensors and more data, because we have a farm in Washington State that's now creating carbon credits for the solids it's not putting into its lagoon and off-gassing, and that's through our data capture and our ability to do so. And of course, that creates carbon credits out of that. Next slide, please. Our fertilizer will be applicable to potential soil credits that might get rise down the road, etc. So we really like to generate utility on our installations, and that comes with extra revenue or extra opportunities for our RNG farm and dairy sites. We are underway in 4 countries. The US is our largest market. We have a dealer and installations in the UK. We are in Lebanon, and we are back to good old Canada in terms of developing our opportunities. We have award-winning IP, as I've already sort of touched on a little bit. We're profitable, and we continually innovate. The biggest opportunity for us is to use the knowledge of 10 plus years of doing this to continue to move ahead. We have the most installations among our peers, and we have the most knowledge. We're always seeking strategic technology partnerships, and we're currently out starting a fundraising and have a data room open. Love to talk to you about it. And again, I'm Doug Laird. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Doug. All right, that now concludes our company presentations for today. And before we move into the final breakout rooms, we're just scrolling back through to get to our announcement for today. For the investors in the room, we do have our early bird rate open until Friday for the Foresight 50 2023 showcase, which will be in Calgary this year on November 8th and 9th. So the Foresight 50 Ventures will be announced at a public event on the evening of November 8th. And then we have an investor-only forum with a conference program and one-to-one meetings with the 2023 Foresight 50 honorees on the afternoon of November 9th. So you can register for that event with a 25% off discount code using the code EARLYBIRD and the QR code on the screen. That link and that code is also applicable to any guests that want to register to attend the showcase the evening of the 8th. So we hope to see you at those events. And I believe some of the folks who pitched today have applied to be on the 2023 Foresight 50 list. So that is just being finalized over the next week and a bit, and we will be able to send out an embargoed list of 2023 honorees at the end of the month. So we hope that you will join us in Calgary for the Foresight 50 showcase. And I want to thank everyone for their excellent pitches today. We hope you had a great time meeting some of these amazing ventures, and we will shortly open up the breakout rooms for our final 4 pitching companies. Come back, everyone. That concludes our event today. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a wonderful afternoon, and we'll chat with you all soon.